Okay, so what you're going to want to do if you've got a full enough scramble is you're going to want to try to get this out of mid-skewb position. So it's a matter of looking to see what parts of it might be able to turn. So this may want to turn. This is locked up over here. So I'm going to try to unbandage this puzzle as much as I can. I get a nice square shape here, but not here. So I think this is the direction that I want to go. What's locking me up? This is locking me up. This won't move because this is locked up. So let's move this into configuration here. It looks like it wants to, but something is not quite doing well with that, and that's this guy. So I have to somehow move this piece here. Moving this is going to be contingent upon getting these guys out of the way, which is going to be contingent on moving this, which is contingent on moving this. Okay. Alright, so this has to move, but it's being bandaged by this, so I want to get this to move. This is being bandaged by this. When this is sinking in, it's not a plus, so if I bump that out of the way, I now may be able to move this, which I can, and having moved that, I now think I can move this, which I can, and now I can move it up. So it's like a domino effect, looking at all of that. Now that I have this in square form, I'm going to try to flatten out edges as much as I can. Okay, so what can move? This can move. And if I move this just right, can this move? Yes. This can move over to here. And now it's a matter of doing the other kind of skewb move. Okay, now we're going to have to ignore these guys and just look at the edges as these centers here. These edges here and these middle edges over here. So this is a blade. This is a spiked blade, rather. This is a spiked edge. So I'm going to look for another edge. Here's another edge over here. It's not a heart shape, but I can see that most of this is formed over here, but this is not. So I've got one hybrid of a slice here and not over here. So maybe I can get these guys to interact. Now if I have a spiked heart, now this one is really, really fascinatingly bad. But that's being bandaged by this, so I can now move it here. You're going to get a feel for any time I have an edge here that dives in, it's going to make me unable to do certain movements. But let's see what I can do, because I don't have a reciprocal piece. But I'm going to take this and see if I can line it up and interact with this edge over here. Okay, I'm trying to line this with this piece, and let's just see what happens. I move this in, and I have this configuration, just about an edge. This edge is now completely in, which is not really surprising. But if I move this up here, I've now created this. Okay, so I have this over here. This is recessed over here, which we don't really like. So maybe I can get these guys to interact. This is, these are two edges. Well, this edge is completed. This is here, but this is not. So I'm going to move this up here and see if I can match this with this. So I'm just going to match edges and see what happens. Now, can this move? Something is preventing it, and I think it's this here. This doesn't want to move because of this. So I got to move this out of the way. But then this will be in its place. So I got to move this out of the way, but then this is in its place. So what if I just kept going around like this? What I'm trying to do is move this away and put another piece in like that. Okay, now as such, I can now move this. So I can move this into configuration. Okay, now notice this is a full slice that's in. This is actually in too, so don't let this fool you. So I'm looking for another edge that's just about in. This is kind of a semi-heart configuration over here, which means I might be able to move this here, and I've created an edge over here. Let's see what we've got. Okay, I now have two that I have to deal with. This and this, oh, three actually, and this. Now, you notice that a lot of these spiky components here are blocking me. I could go after that, believe it or not. I could actually try to put them in. So these two that come out at me, so one is coming out and one is flat, and then there's one that's that's here and one that's in. If I can pair those together, I can actually take that out. So here's what I mean by that. Notice this is diving in, and I've got a couple that are coming out, like over here. I don't think I can get access to that. Yeah, I don't think I can move that out of the way. Okay, so let's just see what happens. Now what I could do is I could match these two with each other. Well, it goes a little something like this. When one is diving in and I got one that's facing out, I do a 180-degree turn. I do a skewb move up to here. If I can, I then try to move this to here. So I do a half turn here. Then I double turn back over to here to line this up. Then I bring this back and I skew it back down. What that'll do is it'll take one of those out, create one of these and these. So now these two are next to each other, and that's what I want to do to try to get these spiky pieces out. Unfortunately, I'm blocked, but maybe not. Maybe if I just go like this, now it can move. Okay, so what you want to do is take one that dives in and put it next to one that actually comes out. Do a 180 like this. Do a skewb move up if I can, and I can't because of this. Maybe I can coax it. Still no? Yeah, still no. Here maybe, here maybe. Okay, yeah, right here. Oh, maybe not. I gotta be very careful. And it's actually this. This is the edge that's not doing it. Do I have a way of changing it? Well, I can move this to here, and then move this to here. Now it'll work. No. Maybe here. Aha, okay. So let's go back to the beginning. No, that won't let that move. And that won't let that move. Okay, I think I want to move this out of the way because it's preventing me from moving. Bring this to here. Okay. I think I'm going to have to abandon that because, well, these edges aren't cooperating. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Let's go ahead and move this back in here. Once again, I've got a hybrid, so I can actually take this and pair it with this guy here. So that puts this in, which keeps this one out. And again, this is a hybrid over here. And this, well, what else do we have? This is still kind of joining that. This is right up close to that. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to try to move this far away from here. Okay, there. Okay, just wanted to take this and move this away from here. Now notice I can't move this, and that's because this edge piece is diving deep. So I'm going to see if I can't move this out of the way. This won't move because of this. So now I can move it out of the way, and now this can turn. Once again, it's got to turn easily. This is something of a heart formation over here. Okay, so this is half of a good one, and this is also half of a good one. Let's move this again over here so that I can get them further away from each other. Okay, so this and this can interact. Okay, so this is correct. This is also correct. I'm ignoring these guys. You got to ignore these. So this edge and these two centers are sort of a, when I say hybrid, I mean it's half of a slice. So this is a good half and this is a good half. And I can see if I can't make these interact. This doesn't want to turn, and that's because this is in the way. Now it can work. Okay, so let's see what happens. So this is correct. So this is sort of a half of a slice here, and this is sort of all messed up. So I'm going to turn this like so. And if I move this up, I can see now these two are lined up. So I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to move it down like this. Okay, now what this did is that actually created, I've got these two that are in and these two that are in. So I'm trying to line up these two here and these two here. And I'm just creating as many as I can until I get myself down to the last two edges that can interact. So this is not in and this is not in. And we see what we've got. So I've got this whole half here is okay. So it's only this one that's sticking out. So this is wrong, this is right, this is right, and this is wrong. So it looks to me like these two are a match made in heaven. I move that down and you can see this is indeed correct. So I'm going to see what happens if I match these guys together. Okay, so I have this strange formation over here. Now I'm just going to point something else out here. I've got two heart formations here. I can put these in by lining them up so that they're going in the same direction. Move this into here, double turn, and then move this down. What that'll do is that will create these, leaving me with one edge left. Now you see all these spiky things that's here? That's going to start limiting some of my motion, so I'm going to start dealing with that. So this one that's coming out is next to one that's going in. Do a 180-degree turn, bring it up to a half skewb move, then wheel this to this edge over here, this part that was up, wheel it over to here, do a 180-degree turn to bring it back, so now this is lined up here, bring this back to here, and then bring it down. That'll place that in here. I'm going to do that a couple times. These two are in the same orbit, so that's not going to work. But I can with this guy here. So let's see what orbit they are in where they can interact. Okay. This guy's going to be a problem, so we can't do it from that standpoint. Maybe if we start turning these here. Okay, I can get this one out if I use this. This is going to dive deep into here. So, I'm going to double turn, move this up, half skewb move, take this, wheel this part. Oh, it's not going to work because this is blocking it, so can't do that. Okay, so what if I move this to here? That might actually work. But I can't move this until I get this out of the way. So we'll get that out of the way. Double turn this. I just want to take this and bring it to here. So I brought it to here. I'd like to bring this back. Am I being blocked? I'm being blocked by this. We'll move this out of the way. And now I can turn. Okay, so now I think we can do it. I don't like this one. This one might stand out of the way. So these two are in line. 180 degrees. Half skewb move up. Take this. Move it to here, to this edge. Double turn it back. I have my heart shape. Bring this back here and then move it down. That took that out. Here's another opportunity right here. Right next to each other. 180 degrees. Skewb it up. Do a half turn here. 180 degrees here. Skewb it back and move it back down. Okay, so you can see we're taking a lot of these spiky areas out. Okay, I've got another one here that I can do. Now when I have one that's coming out and one that's coming in, I can do the same thing. 180 degree turn as they're next to each other. Skewb it up. Take this heart formation that I made, line it up with this edge, double turn, bring it down, bring this down. What that'll do is it'll create one like this, a V-shaped, and it'll create one that that's a V-shape that's inverted. I don't see it here, which means it's going to be here. Okay, so now I can focus on this. Once you have it here, don't fret about what you're going to do with this. Just keep using some intuition. I'm not going to have you memorize every possible configuration, but it's going to interact with this edge. So let's see what we need to do. If I move this up here, does this look like anything I can use? If not, go ahead and make a turn, whatever turn is available, and move it back down. Okay, so we see a double spiked edge, which we've seen before. This is not something that we know about. So let's go ahead and see what comes of this. So this I'm going to preserve because it's, you know, halfway in. This one is the wild card. Let's move this up. No configuration there that makes sense. We'll move this up. Okay, I'm creating something of a side here, so I'm going to utilize that. And now I'm going to move this back down. Unfortunately, I have to destroy what I put in. Oh, nope, okay, this will still be here. Now we're going to move this back down. Okay, so they're starting to look a little more symmetric. This is a slice that's actually half of a whole edge. So this is half of a whole edge. So I'm going to try to maintain that. I'm going to move this here. This is half of an edge as well. Okay, but let's see what happens. Nope. Looks like it wants to move it, but it was protesting. Move this up here. That creates a little bit more of my edge, so that's got some promise. If I move this here, it doesn't really do much. Okay, what if I go here? Right now I'm just looking at all configurations. Okay, I like this. Look what happened here. This is a bisected edge. So this is one half of the edge, this is the other half of the edge. So I like the way that's looking. I can move this to here, and now this half will line up with this half, which is the same half. Move this down, and this is what I've got. This is all in. This is a bisected edge. This is two halves of fully formed edge. I look at this, and this is all messed up. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to take this, move this up to here, and I can see that now we have ourselves a copter. Look. So I'm going to move this over, not a copter. We have ourselves a spiked edge. So I'm going to move this down here. I'm still taking half of this. This will be maintained, and I'm just going to move this down. In. Okay. So now I have this configuration. Okay. I'm going to split it here. Now I may want to go after this. Nope, there's no. Okay, so I'm going to split this here. And let's say move this up to here. Okay, I'm just going to do the only other move that's available to me, which is moving it here and then move it down. And let's see what we've got. Okay, this is the same configuration, but now I've got this in play. So I'm going to hold this to here. Nope, nothing there. That makes a whole lot of sense. Move this to here. Nothing there. That makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, so I'm just going to reconfigure. There's not a whole lot of specific plans with this. I'm just showing you how I do it. And move this down here. Okay. This is a slice that's half of an edge. And this is something that we can do a little better with. This is half of an edge over here. So I'm going to move this here, maintain the half. So this is a whole half, this is a whole half. And if I bring this down here, I'm now creating something of a half here. Okay, so this is a whole half and this is a whole half. Now when I say whole half, what I mean by that is we have a slice here, we've got a slice that looks like this and a slice that looks like this. So if I move this down, that's what I've got. So all I got to do is bring this over to here, and now I've got one half and one half here, but oriented in sort of a skewed way like that. That's when this matches with, you know, something like this. So then I simply move it back. When I do that, this is now in, and I put it over here. Now, if you're having trouble with your particular configuration, I invite you to go back and look at what I did. What did I mean by half and half, you know, half in and half out? So this is a whole one here. If I move it like this, you can see how this is half of that, right? You can also see how this is half of it. So if I move this up, that's what I mean by that. This is half and this is half. They're just out of sync. That's what happened with this. So I'm trying to create those halves so I can move it in, if that made sense. So I kept trying to create an entire half. One half that moves like this, which is half of that heart formation. And the other half that looks like this. So if I have a configuration like that, they can match up. So that's what I was doing. The next step is basically to move these into place, so move them next to each other. 180 degrees, move it up, turn this to match this edge here. I'm not giving you algorithms because, well, I think you can just watch it. 180 degree turn, bring it down, and we have ourselves back at the cube's shape. So that is the first part. The first part, and again, this is where just playing with the puzzle comes from. If you're looking for an algorithm to every situation, then I welcome you to stick with 3x3s and 4x4s where you don't even have to watch the puzzle. You can learn to do it blindfolded. You can know every configuration in 1,000 algorithms, but that's just a trick. That's just a mathematical trick. It doesn't take intelligence, it just takes really great eye-hand coordination and good mental acuity in order to do that. So if you're looking for something similar with this experience, I suggest not trying it because you will get frustrated. But if you like just kind of playing around with it, you'll eventually get it because you'll just keep doing it by trial and error. If you're trying to memorize every configuration to get out of every possible situation, this might be the wrong puzzle. Anyway, so the next step is we want to get all of these guys in. So we're going to do that algorithm that we mentioned. So if I look at this here, if I swap these two and these two, you can see the reds are going to be in, the white's going to be here. If I can get another white one here, then I'll put both my reds here and both of my whites over here. So let's find where there's a white one that's lonely, which is this. So let's find where this needs to go in order to go over to here. So, okay. So I just played around with skewb moves until I can bring in this position. So now at the end of this algorithm, I'll have 2 reds here and 2 whites over here because these two will swap and then these two will swap. So whatever is going to end up over here, whatever color is going to end up over here, which is here, I'm going to match this. So match 2 colors that are the same here and then match the same color that's here to here and you'll be able to put both in. So once again, clockwise, clockwise, and clockwise. Then we move it down, counterclockwise, counterclockwise, counterclockwise. And now we do our algorithm. Down, down, up, up. Turn this 180 degrees, then reverse it with down, down, up, up. Do another 180 degrees turn. Start it again, same thing. I've heard that called sledgehammer. Down, down, up, up. 180 degrees and down, down, up, up, and then stop. Don't do the other 180 degrees. And once again, clockwise, 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 and then move it back up. Boom. Turn, turn, and you can see indeed you got the red one and the white one here. So let's look for some other configurations, and that's all you do. You just play around with it and put things in the proper position. For instance, here's a green and pink. Let's go find another green and pink. This one is not in the right configuration, so I'm just going to keep turning it until I find that they're opposite each other. Let's see. Okay, so now these are opposite each other. I can put the green one here and I need to get a pink one. Now this pink one's on the wrong side. It's got to be here. So I need a different pink one. Now I could use one that's already solved, but I generally try to do ones where, you know what? Maybe we'll do this, yeah. Yellows, see if I can put a white one in here. I could use this, but I'm not really putting one in. So it's going to be this guy here. So why don't we take this, see if we can move this guy all the way down here. Okay, so this will work, because this white will match with this white here. So clockwise, clockwise, clockwise. Move it down, counter, 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 down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, turn back. Do it again, down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, and don't turn it back. Now we go turn clockwise, 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 and we simply move this back up. Boom. Okay. So you can see we're filling these in bit by bit, and we do this until all of these are solved. Here's a green. Here's a pink. I want to move this down here, so let's move this to here. And now I'm going to move this up like so, and then wheel it around, turn it up. And it's in the right configuration. So clockwise, clockwise, clockwise. Moving down, counter, 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 down, down, up, up, 180 degrees, reverse it, down, down, up, up. Do it again, 180 degrees, down, down, up, up, 180 degrees, and down, down, up, up. Puts this back in, clockwise rather. Clockwise by way of counterclockwise, and clockwise. Bring it up, and now that's in. So we're probably not too far from where we need to be. Red will go here. I need an orange here. Yellow rather. Any yellows that aren't in. It appears that all of our yellows are in. All the other yellows are in. We don't have anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use one that we already have. Just like that. So you may have to start doing that if you're unable to find any. So clockwise, clockwise, not really, but, and clockwise, move it down, turn, 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 down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, and keep it there. So now we do clockwise, clockwise, clockwise. Sometimes you see me doing it twice if I just don't feel like struggling with the motion. And now I gotta move this, but it's jammed. It's jammed good. There we go. And up. Okay, so you see we didn't destroy that yellow one, and I believe we just have one more to go. So let's move these opposite each other. These blue ones will match. Now I predict there's a red and pink one here. And that's going to be the last one. There is not. Oh, but I think it's still going to work out okay. So I need to move this to here. I know that it's not going to go in there if I do this Skewb move, but it might if I move this in this direction and then bring it up. Okay, so what's interesting is these blue ones will be in and this red one will be in. So these will flip. And then these will flip. So clockwise, clockwise. Nope. Clockwise. Bring it down, counter, 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 down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up. Turn, down, down, up, up, and turn, and down, down, up, up. Okay, clockwise, 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 and if we can, bring it up. Okay. We should be down to the last few, the last two. So there's these over here. So blue will be here. I just need to get a pink one. It could be any one of these. So let's move this into place. And this should be it. clockwise, clockwise, clockwise. Get ourselves lined up. Down. It actually moves smoothly when it's lined up. Down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up, and turn, down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up. Keep it where it is, clockwise, clockwise, clockwise. Move her up and done. Okay, so now all of these edges are reduced. And there's good equivalencies between all these pieces, so that was the key aspect to it. The rest is pretty much what we did with this guy over here. So you're welcome to see your way through that, but there is a little bit of a trick because we have center pieces here. So we're going to want to make sure our centers are lined up. Now, how do we know what center goes where? Well, sometimes you won't know if you don't know the color scheme until the very end. Now, I have to say, instead of using an orange color, they used a pink color which looks a little too much like this, too much like the red. Not sure why they did that, kind of wish they didn't, but there it is. As to why pink was used, don't know. But in any case, what we want to do is make sure that the centers are correct. So we know that green is opposite blue, so I got to get a blue one over here. So I'm just going to put that here. What this is actually doing is this is coordinating the puzzle so I don't end up with any parities. There's no such thing as corner parities because, well, there's no real corners here, unless you count this collectively as a corner. So red and blue is here. And the way the color scheme goes is if I look at red, it goes with the pattern of red, white, and blue going clockwise. So white should not be opposite red. So we need to get red over to here. So what I can do is move that over to there, but I got to get the blue back. So I'm just going to move this like so. So white opposite yellow, green opposite blue, and red opposite, well, in this case pink, and it's red, white, and blue in a clockwise way. Once you have that, this puzzle is now coordinated. So you don't want to cause too many skewb moves that you don't move back. Well, you don't want to cause any skewb moves that you don't move back. So any skewb move that we do, we have to move back to make sure we don't end up with parity. The rest of this is basically reducing various components of the puzzle. And this I find to go a lot faster and easier than this guy and this guy over here. What you're going to do is, first thing you want to do is you want to put the edges in. But bear in mind what the centers are. So for instance, this is green, but this is the wrong green because I see that this is a red part and this is a pink center. So I'm looking for the green and white. So here's a green and white over here. So what I want to do is I'm going to skewb this into position, but I got to skewb it back or I'm going to end up not with the right configuration. So I'm going to do an edge turn here and I skewb it back. So these guys line up. Don't lose sight of that because that's going to derail you. Okay, so where's the other white and green? Other white and green is... Is it right in front of me and I'm just not seeing it? Right over here. Okay. So now I have to see how we're going to put this into this position. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it from here, so I have to move it somewhere else. But every skewb move I do, I have to remember to move it back. So I'm going to rotate this to here, and now this can make it into here. But I have to skewb it back. So I'm going to skewb it back there. So I skewbed it from here to here. I've got to remember to skewb it back. But I can't just pop it in here like this and say, oh, we're good, because I got to make sure I skewb it back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the way first. I'm going to move this in, so this is in configuration. Edge turn it away, and now skewb it back. So these two are where they need to be. Remember to skewb this one back. If you remember your configuration, you'll be able to find your way back home. Now that this edge is in, greens matched with whites. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put these edge pieces in here. And the way that that's going to work is I've got an algorithm that's going to put this to here, this to here, and this to here. Now here's what I'm going to do, and I encourage you to do it this way too. I'm going to put this opposite where it's supposed to be. Because if I put the green here, when I put the white one in, the green will pop into its place over here. So that algorithm is down, down, up, up, 180-degree turn, and reverse it, down, down, up, up, and put it back. Okay, so now what I have to do is put the white one in here, which will bump the green here. So looking for whites here, I don't see any. So we'll go up to here, aha! White to here, green to here, and this, who cares? So we cut down, down, up, up. We turn this, down, down, up, up. And then turn this back. Okay, so now we have this here. Now it's going to get easier and easier because you're going to be able to find your way home a lot better. It's the opposite of most puzzles where the first few edges are easy and then the rest become harder. The first few are harder and the rest become easier until the last few. Then it just takes some maneuvering, but you can more easily find your way back home. Okay, so let's do the green and pink. So let's find a green and pink right here. So I'm going to move this, skewb this up, edge it out of the way, skewb it back down. In that way that won't take out anything that I just did. Alright, so now we're going to look for the green and pink. Here's a green and pink over here. So let's look to see how we need to move this in. It won't move in comfortably in this position. So let's skewb it to a different spot. I just have to remember to skewb it back. I'm going to move this into here. Actually keep it here. So I'm going to bring it up, but I got to skewb it back. So double turn, bring it back down. We just have to remember to skewb this back over to here. Okay, now we got to be careful because this is taken out. So I know that this has to come back here. Somehow that's what got turned. So this is in. So where is the other pink and green? Right over here. So let's do the same thing. This will slide all the way to here, and it bumps this one out of the way because I got to skewb it back. So move it in, double turn, skewb it back. Now we got lucky because this pink one is already in place to jump down to here. I just have to find another green one, and I can find it right up here. So we've got down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, and turn it back. Okay, so this is in, this is in, this is in over here too. Looking for the green and yellow. Green and yellow is right here, so I'm gonna, it's interesting because this is already in, so I can take this, bump this up while bumping the other out of the way, double turn, bring it down. Okay, so this green is already set up to come into here, so I'm looking for a yellow one, which we got over here. Yellow to here, green to here, blue to here. Down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up. And it's as simple as that. That one required no messy cleanup. And finally, green and red. I've already got this one here. Other green and red is here. So this is in line to bump this out of the way here. Double turn and move it back. Okay, here's a green one. I can put a green one in, but let's move it over to here so that when I put the red one in, the green can be bumped down to there. So down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up. Okay, now let's find our red right over here. So this will come in line here, down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up. Okay, so now we've got all of our greens, we have our cross, so to speak, and it's lined up with the proper centers. So I'm going to turn this upside down and we're going to put all of these in. This pink and white is already here. Now this is just a matter of skewing it in and skewing it back. and doing whatever you need to do to make that happen. So that's way over here. So where do I need to put it? Now, mind you, when I do this, I may take one of these out. That's okay. I'll just put it back in. So I'm going to move this to here. And that's going to put me in line to do a skewb move to here. So I'm going to double turn this like so. I'm going to move this to here so that this can bump it out here. Skewb it in. Double turn. Skew it back. So you can see this is all in. Now, how do I remember what I did? Well, I can use this to guide me. If I move this back here, everything is in. So that's why it's easier. So this is in over here. And now I want to move a pink one to here. So this is good here. Here's a pink one over here. Now, if I do that, the white's going to bump out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a temporary skew move like this to put this one in play. Then I can move it back and this is maintained. So we're going to have to start doing that from time to time. So down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, and turn it back. And now we skewb this back up, and now you can see that this is in. Okay, white and red. I've got two white and reds over here, so this will be a little bit of a challenge of positioning. So I'm going to position this here. If I do that, and then I turn this like so, this white and red will come to here. So we're going to move it in, skew it out of the way, or edge it out of the way, turn it back. Now we got to make sure we get this back in, so this has to turn, and now we move this back up like so. Now notice we took this green one out. What I do in situations like that is I immediately put the green one back in. So this to here, but I don't want to move this out of the way. So let's do it from this perspective, because that way this will go here, this will go here, and now this will come back up to here. So it's a little bit of damage control, but well worth it so I don't lose sight of what I just did. Up, up, this is now back in, no muss, no fuss. This is still in, so that's good. And we're going to do the same thing but with this other red piece. This went to here. Move this in line. Once again, turn this. Down you go. Turn, and up you go. Move this back here. I'm going to do the same thing, immediately get the green piece back in. Move this to here. Now what's good is this red will go here, this pink will go here, and this green will come back here. So we've got down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, and turn this back. Okay, so white, I want to put this white to here. I want to get this out of the way, so I'm going to take this red and I'm just going to skewb it down to here. I'll just remember to skewb it back. So down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up, turn it back, and now we're going to skewb this back in. So now this is done. Okay, red and yellow. Here's a red and yellow here. So I'm going to move this back to here, and we're going to do the same pattern. I've already got a red and yellow here, so half the work is done. Move this in, edge it out, bring this back in. Immediately get the green one back in because, you know, reasons. Okay, this will go here, this will go here. What's good because this red will be where it's supposed to be, this green will be where it's supposed to be. Then we have to deal with this yellow. But we got down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up. Okay, move this back into here. Okay, find a yellow. Any here? Nope. There is one over here. Now alternatively, if I hold this to here, none of these are in, so I could just move it like so, where this will go here, this will go here, and this will go here. And that's what we'll do. So down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, and up. Okay, so that's all in, and now for a middle we just have one more, orange and pink. right here. So once again, we know to move this down to here. And again, I'm not going to tell you exactly where to move it, just move it to where you can skewb it into place. It's going to be different depending on what you want to do. But if it's up here, you're just going to do one skewb move here. You're one skewb move away from where you have to place it. So bring it up, turn, bring it back. And now move this back into configuration here. Let's get our green one back. We'll do it from this perspective. This to here, this to here, and this to here. Down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up. Turn this back. Okay, so now we have to find the remaining red and pink, and that is, or yellow and pink right here. So think about where you need to put it. And you don't have to memorize where you got to place it. Just put it somewhere and see if it's going to work. So for instance, let's say I decide I'm going to move this to here. Will this work? Yeah, it will. So again, don't memorize it. Just put it somewhere and see if it'll work. If not, bring it back and redirect it. So move it in, turn, move it back. Okay? Now to remember what you did, you saw that we have a slice here. We see we have a slice here, so I'm simply going to move that back over here. Okay, did it take anything out here? No, that worked well. Okay, so I need a yellow one or a pink one. I don't see any over here, so I'm going to look over here. I got a pink one here, but I'm going to place it over here because it'll be easier to shift down. So down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up. Okay? So now I got to find a yellow, which will put everything in. I don't see any here, so I'm going to orient it here, and I don't see any here. Okay, so I have to do some redirecting. I'm going to be using this one. So where do I got to put this so it's at one of these areas here? So if I move it here, it's where it needs to be. Okay, so let's move the yellow in position here. Let's move this up, so this will go here, this will go here, and this will go here, and then we move it back. So we've got down, down, up. Oops, up, turn, down, down, up, up. This is all in. We'll turn this back, and now we just move this back in. If you forgot what you had to do, just find the other green. Okay, so now we've got the middle layer done with all these edges. We're lined up with the centers, and now the fun part, the top part. It's nothing new. You just have to position them. Okay, so looking at the top layer, let's see what's already in here. We've already got this here, the blue and yellow. So where's the other blue and yellow? It's right here. So where do I need to put it? Well, it's going to be hard to get it in if it's so close. So let's just move it and find where it might work. So if I move it here, then I find I can skewb it into this position. Or can I? Yeah, if I move it like this. So now that's moved in. Double turn it, move it back. So that's in. Now I have to make sure that I can skewb this back in here. So if I move this back up, this is back in. Let's go ahead and immediately put this pink one in. So I'm going to move this up to here. This will go here. Well, this will go here, this will go here, this will go here, which is nice because this blue one will be in place. So down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up, and turn it back. Okay, so you can see we have this in. I want to get a yellow one in here. So let's see what we need to do to make that happen. So maybe we can move it in from here. Let's see what we need to do so it doesn't disrupt too much over here. If I move this, nope, that's not going to work here. So maybe if I move it in like this. So yeah, this will participate. So I'm going to move this into position here. I'm going to move this up so this yellow will go here. I have to remember to skewb it back, but this blue is also going to participate, and I don't want it to do that. Now, if I can exchange this with another white piece, if I go 1, 2, I'm exchanging it with this white piece, so that'll work. Or better yet, I'll just move it up like that. So I'm just exchanging a white for a white. I just have to remember to move this green back. This will be my breadcrumb to move it back. So we've got down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, turn it back. There's my breadcrumb. We move this back in. So this is now in. And I think we had another one that we had to turn in. And that's this, I believe. And that's turning this back over here. Okay, so all these are still in. And now this is in. Okay, what about here? So we have a red and, well, we don't want the red and blue. This will be pink and blue. Okay, so as much as it might pain us to do this, we have to move this into a position. Won't do it from here. How about from here? And yeah, this can make it into here. If I go turn, quickly edge it out, quickly move it back. And now we have to look to see what we need to do to bring it back. And it's like so. Let's immediately get the green one back in. Oh, rather the white one back in. If I hold it here and here, that should work. So down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up, and turn it back. Okay, so we're getting this guy in here. Where's the other pink? Right over here. Okay, it's a little too close here, so let's get it out of the way. Let's move it into this position and see what kind of skew move we can do. We can from here. So remember, I don't just want to move it in because I've got nowhere to go. I've got to skew it back. So let's bump it into this piece. So turn it, bump it out of the way, turn it back. As it happens, this is in, but now we've got to remember to move this one back. So let's move this back to where it was, and bang. So let's get our yellow one back in. It's here. Now, rather than deal with an issue here, why don't I just turn this like so? Well, it really doesn't matter. This will go here, this will go here, and this will go here. So, yeah. Down, down, up, up, turn, and down, down, up, up. This is turned back. These are where we want it, but now I want to get a blue one in here. So it's going to get harder and harder to position some of these things. So, but if I move this to here, this blue will go here. I want to get this out of the way. It's a pink. Let's see if there's another way that we can do this. Move this out of the way here. Here's another blue here. So I'm just going to pop this up here, so no harm, no foul. I'll just be doing yeah, this isn't really in yet, so I'm going to move this to here. So we've got down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up, turn it back, follow my breadcrumbs back like so. And now this comes back like thus. Okay, what did I end up taking out? Something must have been taken out. No, looks like we're pretty good. Okay, in. I need to find the other blue and white, which is right here. Get it out of the way. Move it to a place that I can exchange it, which is right here, this to here. Move it in, double turn, move it back. Okay, remember to get these guys back over here. Immediately get the pink one back in. Okay, this will be a blue for a blue, so I'm going to take this, move this down here so it's a blue for blue exchange. Down, down, up, up, turn, down, down, up, up, and turn it back. Okay, now let's bring this back up here, and let's see what we've got. I think that was the last of the edges. This got messed up big time, but not so much, because if I can move this blue to here, this will go here, this will go here, this will go here. A perfect 3 cycle. Down. Okay, picking it up from here, the next part is going to be reducing these. Now, this is a little bit of a different experience than I would say with these versions, just because you don't have corners, and we can actually keep it as much as we can in the solve position, because really you're just doing these movements over here. But here's how this is going to work. To reduce these little petals here, we're going to take this piece and swing it all the way down here so that it matches this piece here. Now this isn't correct, so I'm going to want to find a pink one that's at the bottom here. So let's follow its orbit and see if we can find any. I can't, but I have this one. So this pink one I want to move to here. Now I can see that this orbit is right next to, it's right next to the proper orbit over here. So it's got to come into here, this is the right orbit, this is the right orbit. I find where this is supposed to be and put it right next to the proper orbit. Once I do that, I'm going to do my single jumble maneuver, move this here and here. We go up, down, and turn if I can, turn, bang, bang, and this will go turn and turn. I'm going to bring this here. Okay, so this should have been put in the proper orbit. So it's going to move to here and to here. Now I'm going to move this back because there's no corners that I have to worry about, but what's going to happen is this is going to come over to here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of here, then I'm going to slide it back because I want to maintain this position. Now wouldn't it be nice if when I slide it back I can move a red one on the bottom here to coincide with this. Now, it was probably rather silly of me to use these two colors because they're too much alike, so I apologize for that. That must be kind of confusing, but basically what it amounts to is I'm going to move this into here, then I'm going to swap these two, right, and then move it back. So the one that's going to end up swapping is going to be in this position because when I turn it, notice it's going to be opposite. So let's get one with the same color as this, but on the bottom, so that when I swap it, I can move a red one in, this color in. So let's find it in this orbit. Do we have one? Turn here, here, nope. But this, or actually this one is right next to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one in this orbit over here. So down and down. I'm going to go up, down, turn, and this will come here, this will come here. Might as well move this back. Okay, so this is in the orbit that I want. Now I just have to remember what it was that I did. And the problem with doing this is I frequently find myself getting a little lost. But anyway, this goes here, this is here. So this was in, nope, that was not. Okay, so the one that we were dealing with is this. So somewhere within this orbit is that red that I just put in. It must be, and it's right here. Okay, so I just had to find it. So here's how that's going to work. I'm going to take this, skew this down to here, and I'm going to swap these two. So this will go up, down, double turn, down and up, and now I'm going to skew it back, but now I've matched these two up. So I'm just going to move these back into place so I don't lose my overall solve here. So let's do one that's a little easier to visualize. Okay, so let's find another color that we can use that might be a little easier to follow. So here's a yellow. I'm going to want to move a yellow one into here. So is there a yellow one within this orbit? And I'm seeing that there is not, but this yellow one is right next to it, so is this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, move this one in the right orbit. Okay, now that it's in the right orbit, let's move these guys back. I'm going to move this around until it coincides where it's supposed to be here. I'm just going to keep moving these guys back. Okay, so this yellow is going to join with this, but this white one is taken out. So I got to find a white one that I could put here. That's going to be a white one on the bottom because remember when I move this, this is going to end up over here to exchange with this piece over here. These two will exchange. So a yellow on the bottom, and I've got a yellow on the bottom here. So, I want to white on the bottom rather. So anything within this orbit and right here. Aha! So I can move this in, and that's going to work. So we're going to move this in. So you see this is joined. Let's go ahead and swap these two with the white on the bottom. So this will move up, down, double turn, and now skew it back up, and this is in. So it'll go actually kind of fast. I'm going to move these pieces back in too, so I retain that. So here's another yellow. So I can see if we can bind to another yellow here. Here's a yellow on the bottom. And here's the thing. Oh, actually, this is yellow on the top. So finding yellow on the bottom, nothing here. Here, I'm just following the orbit. And I don't see any that'll come into that place. Here's a yellow on the bottom, and let's see where it'll find a place. So it's right next to the orbit over here. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to move it into this spot over here. So turn, turn. Okay. So you can see this is now in, just like that. Now I want to find a blue on the bottom. There's actually a blue one over here, but I want to get it over here. So do I have one that's easy to find? Well, there's this, and it's right next to this over here. That might be a little difficult to keep track of. Now let's see if I can move this around here. Okay, I just wanted to move this far from here, and this is the blue that I'm thinking of. Okay, I want to move this blue to here because that's where it's going to exchange with it. So I'm going to move this to here. Now understand, as I'm going to jumble this in, I've got this in my sights, so I have to remember to move it back. So I'm going to roll this to here. So this is where it needs to be, but I got to move this guy back, so turn and turn. So what this means is this yellow is going to move it to here. And now we're going to exchange these two. So we're going to go up, down, and turn. Now the only problem with this puzzle is its playability. You can see how rigid it gets. So now this is in. So we just keep following suit. Okay, so this green wants to come into here somewhere. Let's find a green right here. So let me see if I can move this to here. Okay, so these two are in a similar orbit. How this will work is I'll move it like this. So I need to move them into the same orbit. This does not want to turn, so I have to kind of cheat a little bit and go like this. Like I say, it does really distract from the playability. It's the only issue with the puzzle. Okay, so with that said, this will go down to here, like that. Now I gotta put a green one here, and I think this might be the last one. Now with the last one, I might just need to put in one that has two greens in it. So I can do a full green one. I'll move this into position here. Okay. Here to here. Looks like this green, if I can move this here, it's next to where it needs to be. So we're going to go turn, turn. If it's not completely lined up, it simply will not turn. Turn and turn. Okay, so this green is where it needs to be. Move this down, this is in, and move these two across here, down, and move this up. Okay. So we can see that all of these petals are now reduced, and this is where the Skewb Extreme shines as being easier than these guys. Because notice I don't have any corners in, so really this becomes just a Curvy Copter solve. Curvy Copter is something that has no corners. So what I'm going to do is this is in this orbit over here, so let's move it down, turn it, turn and turn. So now that's in. This I'm going to move over to here, so I'm just going to move it into this orbit. And actually, even before I do that, I want to move this to here. So I'm going to move it from here to here. Why don't I take this, turn it here and here, so I can move this right into the orbit that it goes to move it in. If only it would let me move counterclockwise. So it suffers from the whole I don't want to move you counterclockwise thing, whatever that means. Move this into here. Now I can move this up, so this is joined, and move this in. Turn and turn. Okay, so other greens, this can turn here, so bump it out of the way, move this in, put it in here, and put it here. This needs to go into this spot, so let's move them over here. I'm going to take this piece here and move it to here. Why? Because upon doing that, it's going to move it right into the correct orbit. So at this point, the payoff with all this reduction is a much easier solve. And move this back in. So now all this is good. Okay, so this is all in. Now I work on these, so it's kind of a layer by layer. So let's see if we can find a yellow one here. No yellows here, but this one can join it. Okay, so basically this. So I want to take this and move it with this one here. So how can I do that? Well, if it's here, I can move it here and here. And then I can move this down to here, and then I can move this into its proper position. Turn and turn. I'm going to move this in here and move this to here. Move this back. Okay, so very good. This is a red one. Any red ones here? Nope. Except maybe this. So where's a red one? Well, if I move this down here, then that will be right next to where it needs to be over here. So that means if I move this to here, this red one need here, here. Well, just go like this. Might be easier to visualize. That sucker does not want to turn to save its own life. Okay, where'd I put it? Okay, so it's right here. So I can move this to here and to here. I know I'm taking it out of one place, but I'm not really focused on that as of yet. And bang. Okay? Okay, so that's in. This is in. White is in. Do we have a white one here? Yes. So finally one that I can easily put in. So if I see that it's in the correct orbit, I'm simply going to move this down, bring this in, move it up. Now, this is just Curvy Copter solve. Not even Curvy Copter solve, this is helicopter solve, because this is now a helicopter cube. Okay, so a pink one, I'm looking for an orbit with a pink here, here, and here. So this one is right next to it. So as such, if I move this to here, this is going to pop into here. So I want it to pop into this place here. I'm going to move it to the side. So these two that are opposite, that's just going to make it pop it into there. So turn, so you can see it's popped into here, and turn it up. Again, all Curvy Copter solve. This got moved out, but we can easily find it. It's right here. Move it down, bring it in, move it up. Okay, finally a yellow. I don't see anything in this orbit, but this is right next to it. So if I move this here, so remember, when you have two things that are next to each other, you can move them into the same orbit by putting them opposite each other like this. All I'm doing, really, is I'm seeing if I can just move it right into here. So I'm going to move this in a position to get opposite to here, but I'm just going to move this guy around until this particular one is opposite, so that I can move it right back. So turn. You don't have to do it this way. Yeah, I guess you do. So now it just won't turn. So I have to sort of convince it that it really wants to. There we go. And turn. And I can turn this back. Okay, now I'm going to take the journey back, move this to here, move this to here, which brings us to here, and then move this to here. Now this one got bumped out, but I'm sure we can find it right here. Okay, so this half is done. So now I turn it upside down, and this is the fun part. So let's just kind of get a lay of the land here. And this is postured to come into this orbit. So I'm going to bump this out of the way, move this in, put this in here, move this down. So where's the other yellow? The other yellow is right here. So right now it needs to go where to go into here? It needs to be in this orbit over here. So obviously it's not going to do that. So what I actually need to do is I need to move it to here and then move it to here. So I'm just going to do that. It's going to take this one out of its orbit, but I don't even know if it belongs there or not. Turn and turn. Now I got to move it to here so that it can come to this spot here. These are in, so I really don't want to do any issues with that. So I need to move it into this spot here. So turn, turn, up, down, in this single jumble maneuver. See the helicopter cube tutorial if this isn't making sense. And turn. Okay, so now this is in the correct orbit, so let's move this out of the way, bring it in and move it down. Move this here. Now notice this is upside down, but we're not going to worry about that. As long as I know they're in the right orbit, there is a way of fixing this. This is also in the correct orbit, and these are in the correct orbit. So everything appears to be in the right orbit. So how do we get these back? Well, if ever you're in a situation where these are opposite the edges, do what I call the double jumble maneuver. Double jumble maneuver won't take anything out of its orbit, but it will flip this like that. So we're going to go up, down, do a single jumble here, turn, turn, and then go the opposite side, turn, turn. Before I started here, now I'm starting here. Double turn this, and then I'll double turn this over here. That'll put this in and it won't touch any of these. Okay, so now same thing with this. We're going to go up, down, double turn, and then on the other side, up, down. So this is a double jumble maneuver, which will easily rotate my edge here. First I have to do a little bit of struggling. So like I say, it does play upon the playability here. Boom. And down. Okay, so here's an interesting configuration. These two have to swap somehow. The best way to swap this is to do a swap of two pieces that are in different orbits, but they're the same color, they're equivalent. Because otherwise, I won't be able to make that happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly pick two here, swap these two orbits, and that should reset things. So single jumble, turn, turn, this goes up and this goes up. So what did that do? Well, that will cause a domino effect here. So this will go here, this will turn here, this will turn here. You know, these guys are now out of sync, but they're out of sync in a more homogeneous way. This will go here, this will turn here, this will turn here, and our helicopter part of the solve is now done. So that's how you solve the extreme puzzle, the Skewby Copter Extreme or Curvy Copter Extreme, something extreme. Anyway, that's how to solve this. How do I like the puzzle? I like it just fine. It's pretty good. It's kind of difficult to turn. I mean, right now it seems like it's smooth moving, but you can see me struggling with some of the moves. I like the challenge of some of the jumbling maneuvers to try to get it back into its native position. But otherwise, that is the most that I can do with the scramble and solve with this. If there's any configurations that you're in that you find with this that you didn't quite understand, let me know. Otherwise, to solve this guy is a combination of this solve and this solve. If you'd like me to have a go at it anyway, just because of perspectives, let me know. But otherwise, you can look at the tutorial on this and the tutorial on this, and then see if you want to give this one a go. But if you'd like, let me know, and I can go ahead and do a full scramble and solve with this guy as well. So as always, thanks for watching.